Honorable Minister of Education and Sports, represented by the Honorable Minister of State for Higher Education, Honorable Members of Parliament present, the Permanent Secretary, Minister of Education and Sports, members of the UNEB Board, the Executive Secretary of UNEB, senior officials of the Ministry of Education and Sports, senior officials of UNEB, members of the press, ladies and gentlemen. You are all welcome to this occasion of the release of the results of the 2018 Advanced Certificate of Education Examination. I would like at this juncture to invite the UNED chairperson, Professor Mary Okwakol, to come and give her remarks. Thank you very much.
Honorable Minister of Education and Sports, the Permanent Secretary, Minister of Education and Sports, members of the UNEB Board, the Executive Secretary of UNEB, senior officials of the Ministry of Education and Sports, senior officials of UNEB, members of the press, ladies and gentlemen. Honorable Minister, the Uganda National Examinations Board is ready to present to you the results of the 2018 Uganda Advanced Certificate of Education, UACE, for release in accordance with Section 4 of the UNEB Act. This examination was successfully conducted between 12th November and 6th December 2018. This is the last of 3 examinations the board conducts, which marks UNEB's full accountability to you and the nation for the resources given. The UACE candidature dropped by 1,693 candidates, and this constitutes 1.7% compared to that of 2017. This trend was also observed in 2015 and 2017. Although no study has been conducted to find out the reasons for the apparent low transition from UCE to UACE, the drop may be due to the fact that other post-UCE institutions absorb the learners. This is evidenced by the increased enrollment in primary teachers' colleges as well as technical and vocational institutions. Honorable Minister, as I reported in the previous examinations, the board is conscious of the needs of our learners with various forms of disabilities and learning challenges. The various forms of special needs and how the board handles them so as to mitigate the negative impacts of such challenges on the achievement of the learners are elaborated in the release statement to be presented by the Executive Secretary. The results indicate that there is better performance in 2018 than that in 2017. However, UNEB's concern is that entries for some subjects are quite low. Only just above 10% of the total candidature registered for some subjects. And for females, the figure is even less than 10%. This is a persistent trend that needs to be addressed urgently so as to ensure that the nation has sufficient numbers of learners in science disciplines to enroll for science-based professionals or other professions at universities and other tertiary institutions. Of particular concern is the poor performance in biology. In the last 3 years, less than 50% of the candidature obtained passes at principal level. The performance in 2018 has been worse, at less than 40%. This is a cause for worry because many science-based programs at universities and other tertiary institutions require biology as an essential subject. Malpractice cases at UACE have been low. This notwithstanding, UNEB will continue to put in place additional measures to eliminate the malpractice at this level so as to ensure credible results. Honourable Minister, UNEB is about to start the exercise of registering candidates for the 2019 examinations. I would like to inform the nation that registration fees have remained the same as for 2018, and that is 34,000 shillings for PLE, 164,000 shillings for UCE, and 186,000 shillings for UACE. The circular confirming this will soon be sent to all the examination centers. Regrettably, we have learned that some centers have already asked parents for as much as 120,000 shillings for PLE and over 250,000 shillings for UCE and UACE respectively. These charges are being misrepresented as, I quote, UNEB examination fees, unquote. Nothing could be further from the truth. The purported UNEB charges are illegal. Heads of examination centers are warned against these distortions. It has also come to the attention of the board that some head teachers issue fake examination results, which they purport to be UNEB examination results, with a view to falsely please parents. The board strongly warns all those engaged in this illegality that they risk having examination centers withdrawn. I wish at this juncture to thank you, Honourable Minister, for your continued support and that of your ministry, which ensures that UNEB fulfills its mandate. I thank my colleagues on the board for their cooperation in providing the necessary policy guidance throughout the examination cycle. In a special way, Honourable Minister, allow me to thank the Executive Secretary and the staff of the Secretariat for the hard work that ensured that the 2018 cycle of examinations is successfully completed. I congratulate the candidates who have performed well and encourage those that did not achieve as well as they had hoped not to give up but try again. I now ask the Executive Secretary to present the release statement that gives details to what I have just highlighted. Thank you for listening to me.
The Honourable Minister of Education and Sports. The Permanent Secretary Ministry of Education and Sports. The chairperson of Uganda National Examinations Board, members of the board of UNEB present, senior officers from the Ministry of Education and Sports, my senior colleagues from Uganda National Examinations Board Secretariat, members of the press, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. Honorable Minister, we are delighted, honored to present to you the results of the 2018 Uganda Advanced Certificate of Education examination, which was, as you heard, smoothly conducted between the 12th and the 6th, 12th November and 6th of December, under the theme, Integrity and Security in the Management of Examinations is my responsibility. Honorable Minister, total candidature of 99,576 was registered for the examination from 2,094 examination centers, and compared this to 101,269 candidates from 1,918 examination centers in 2017. This is a decrease in candidature of 1.7%, as you had. Of those, 98,524 candidates appeared for the examination, and this has also dropped from 100,066, a decrease of 1,524 candidates. The government's UPOLET program was responsible for 18,546 candidates, that is 18.6% of the total number of candidates. That also dropped from 22,526, or 22.2% of total candidature in the previous year. Honorable Minister, the total of 41,296 female candidates were registered in 2018, compared to 41,932 in the previous year, also a slight decline. The female candidates constitute 41.6% of the total number of candidates who took the examination in 2018. Honorable Minister, you will recall that at the Uganda Certificate of Education, the parity, the gender parity had almost been achieved at 50-50. However, at this level, we see the gap between the male and the female candidates is quite wide, with a ratio of 42 females, 58 males. The statistics of the number of candidates who registered and those that sat are given in Table 1. What you note from Table 1, Honorable Minister, is the decline that the chairperson referred to. Happily though, we would like to observe that absenteeism is gradually reducing, meaning that candidates are registering for the examination and staying on and taking the examination. This year we have an absenteeism rate of 1%. In Table 2, Honorable Minister, I will give you a summary of special needs candidates. As the chairperson has said, the board makes all the necessary considerations and accommodations to ensure that as much as possible, the effects of their disabilities do not affect their performance in the examination. You will see the category and the kind of consideration that the board makes, and we have also shown the number of males and females in the different categories of special needs and the total numbers. In 2017, we registered 192 candidates under this category. On top of these other considerations, an extra time of 45 minutes is provided for all of them. Honorable Minister, performance of candidates. An analysis of the overall candidate performance in the 2018 UACE examination shows that a very high percentage of our candidates, that is 98.6, are qualifying for the award of the Uganda Advanced Certificate of Education. And this is similar to the percentage of 98.5 in 2017. To qualify for this award, one needs to obtain at least one subsidiary pass in a subject that is taken at the principal level. We have compared the performance of the 2018 candidates with those of 2017 in table number 3. From that table, Honorable Minister, you can see the improvement that has been referred to by the chairperson. At the 2 principal pass levels and above, you'll see that 64.7% of our candidates passed, obtaining at least 2 principal passes, compared to 60.7 in the previous year. You'll also see that the failure rate has slightly decreased from 1.5 to 1.4. So when you take at the minimum of 2 principal level passes that are currently required for admissions at our universities, Honorable Minister, 64.7%, that is 63,123 candidates will qualify for places at our universities. If 1 principal pass and 2 subsidiary passes that are also required for some of the vocational courses at our tertiary institutions are also considered, then a very high 85.8% will qualify, compared to 83.0 in 2017. Honorable Minister, this confirms the better performance in 2018 compared to 2017. We've compared the performance of male, female, and male candidates in table 4. You'll observe that proportionally, although we've said the female candidates are fewer in number, but proportionally, the female candidates have performed better than their male counterparts at all levels. You look at the 3 principal pass level, 42.9% of the girls obtained 3 principal passes, compared to 33.7% of the males. Those that are obtaining at least 2 principal passes, you see for the girls the percentage is 70.4 compared to 60.7 for the males. Even at the failure rate, Honorable Minister, the females posted only 0.8% failure, whereas that percentage was 1.8 for the males, confirming that the female candidates at all levels passed better than the males. We have also presented to you performance in the large principal level subjects, large entry principal level subjects, and the general paper in table 5. Here, Honorable Minister, we are showing the number of candidates that opted for each of those subjects, the percentage passing with a principal A level pass, and then we are also showing those that have obtained at least principal pass level E. We are comparing these to 2017. And a look at that table will indicate, Honorable Minister, that in the subjects of history, economics, entrepreneurship skills, mathematics, physics, chemistry, and art, candidates have performed better than in the previous year. In geography, we have observed improved performance at the principal A pass, where last year only 0.4% of candidates obtained an A. This year, that percentage has gone to 1.1. In table 6, Honorable Minister, we again compare the males, females, and the males in those same subjects. Again, we show the number of candidates, females, and the number of candidates, males. that took the various subjects. Again, in terms of percentages, female candidates performed better than their male counterparts in most of the subjects, particularly in the arts, the humanities, physics, and agriculture. The male candidates showed up in maths, chemistry, biology, art, and the general paper. Honorable Minister, whereas mathematics, physics, chemistry, and biology are compulsory at UCE level, the transition to UACE in the core sciences and mathematics is worrisome. In 2018, only 30% of the candidates offered mathematics, though this was a pleasant increase from only 22% in 2017. Physics decreased. In 2017, 13.8% of our candidates offered physics. That number dropped to 10.5 in 2018. Chemistry remained more or less the same at 15.4, and biology also remained more or less the same at 13.3. Only maths showed an increase, showing that just about 10%, as the chairperson said, are offering these subjects. The situation for females, as she's already said, is even worse, less than 10%. When you look at physics, only about 5% of the candidates are females. Honorable Minister, we say a bit about the quality of candidates' work that is seen at this level. This examination is designed to test candidates' ability to comprehend and apply knowledge in novel situations, to demonstrate logical reasoning skills, to show ability to perform scientific experiments and interpret the results, and draw conclusions arising from that. The questions that are set also test the candidate's ability to handle higher order tasks such as descriptions, explanations, analysis, and evaluation. Honorable Minister, we observed good performance exhibited by candidates from mainly the traditional government schools and some private schools. Those candidates demonstrated adequate knowledge of the subject matter, and they were able to handle tasks that required the higher order skills I referred to. Their work in the practical examination papers also showed their ability to manipulate apparatus, take accurate recordings of data, and interpret the data and make inferences. However, Honorable Minister, in many centers, performance continued to indicate inadequate syllabus coverage. This is evidenced by the fact that questions that are set on the later part of the syllabus are either not attempted at all by the candidates, or those who attempt them offer very, very inadequate answers. The quality of work in these centers showed poor performance, poor preparation of the candidates for the exam. The problems that we have highlighted in previous statements continue to persist, Honorable Minister. Candidates showed misunderstanding of questions, leading to their giving wrong answers, or failure to handle questions that required them to offer explanations, or required them to interpret, or offer their original responses. These candidates also failed to present the type of logical arguments expected at the Uganda Advanced Certificate of Education level. In sciences, the problem that we cited at UCE also persists. That is, teaching theoretically with very little practical experience given to the candidates. As a result, candidates in this group showed inability to follow instructions and procedures during the practical examinations. They fail to accurately record data or even make meaning of any of the data that they recorded. Honorable Minister, there is a serious problem developing in biology practical paper where candidates do not carry out the dissections of the specimens that are provided as required by the question, but proceed to make drawings that are crammed from textbooks. There is evidence that teachers in these schools do not expose the candidates to this very, very essential skill of dissection that they will need. A detailed analysis on these issues, Honorable Minister, will be sent out to the centers in our report on the work of candidates. This report highlights the areas of strengths and weaknesses and makes suggestions on how we can improve. Honorable Minister, the board, in accordance with Section 4, Subsection 3 of the UNEB Act, Cap 137, has obtained permission to withhold results of 91 candidates. This is 0.09% of total candidature from 21 centers. Most of these are substitution, external assistance, and some cases of impersonation detected in mathematics, biology, and chemistry. These were the main subjects affected. As usual, they will be given a fair hearing before final decisions are taken. Honorable Minister, last year we had 76 candidates whose results were withheld. This is quite small at this level, and we're working hard, as the chair said, to see all results at this level released. However, Center 2804, allocated to a school called Sesa High School in Kakungube in Kazimierz, Kasanda district, is being withdrawn for very, very gross violation of examination regulations that have been witnessed both at UCE and the UACE examinations for this year. Honorable Minister, allow me to thank you, add my voice to the chair to thank you for your support in ensuring that the necessary resources that we require for handling the examinations are provided. I'm also thanking the Ministry of Finance, Planning and Economic Development for releasing the funds that we needed. I am very sincerely thank our chairperson and members of the board for their guidance. The staff of the Ministry of Education and Sports and other institutions and agencies under the Ministry that assisted us in various ways in conducting the exam. Honorable Minister, I want to thank all our area supervisors. These are our field commanders, the heads of centers, invigilators who were at the examination centers for the tremendous amount of work they did in overseeing this examination. I equally extend my appreciation to the Uganda Police and other security agencies that assisted us. Honorable Minister, the Inspector General of Police gave UNEB a dedicated team of police officers with whom we worked to ensure a smooth conduct of exams, and some of them are here in the audience. I request them to salute you. To the candidates that performed well, I also like to congratulate them and encourage those who fell below what they thought they would achieve not to give up. Honorable Minister, I believe in the God of second chance. We can try again. I wish especially to acknowledge the dedication of duty exhibited by the staff at the UNEB Secretariat. Their commitment and sacrifice enabled the board to successfully conduct and expeditiously process the results of these examinations for its timely release, just like we did for the other two examinations. Honorable Minister, the public can access results immediately you declare that the results are released. However, for our schools, we shall be ready for them at 2 o'clock this afternoon. Those that wish to collect the hard copies can go to UNEB Mtinda offices. However, the results will be electronically uploaded on the school portal, and schools can access these results from the comfort of their offices. I want to appeal, Honorable Minister, to our heads of examination centers. Many of them have not been keen on cross-checking the results of their candidates and pointing out any errors that may be therein. And so, after many months and even years have passed, they are bringing up issues that they should have brought. This time we are saying all heads of examination centers must study their result lists and submit to the board any queries that they may have not later than 15 days after the release of these results. Queries that are submitted after this will not be entertained. Honorable Minister, any person who is interested in accessing these results can do so as usual via SMS on MTN and Airtel networks. Our code is 6600, to which you send when you go to the message menu. You type UACE, you leave a space, put in the correct index number of the candidate, and you send to 6600. As I said, this service is available on MTN and Airtel network. Honorable Minister, I thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Daniel Odongo, the Executive Secretary to the Uganda National Examinations Board. May I now invite the chairperson of UNEB to hand over formally the results to the Honorable Minister. May I now take this opportunity to invite the Minister of Education and Sports, who is now represented by State Minister for Higher Education, Honorable Muingo, to come and address this gathering.
Thank you very much, MC. My colleagues, the honorable members of parliament here present, the permanent secretary, Minister of Education and Sports, the chairperson and members of the Uganda National Examinations Board, the executive secretary, Uganda National Examinations Board, directors, commissioners, senior officials from the Ministry of Education and Sports, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. Good morning. Good morning. At least. Thank you for keeping time. Thank you for coming. I'm very happy that people are time conscious these days. It's indeed a great pleasure for me to be presiding over the release of the 2018 UACE examinations, which were successfully conducted between 12th November and 16th December 2018. Indeed, UNEB has given us its accountability to our satisfaction. They deserve a very good handicap, people. They have done the work, good work, within the time allocated, and I want to thank you, Madam Chairperson. I want to thank the entire board. I want to thank the staff of UNEB for these accomplishments, and may God bless you. I note for the third time that UNEB is announcing a reduction in the number of candidates at this level, despite the annual increases at ordinary level. It is indeed true that government has made many more post-UCE programs available through the expansion of technical and vocational education. It's however important to have an empirical study to satisfy ourselves that the large numbers, about 347 candidates that passed the UCE examination in 2016, indeed went for UACE and those other programs mentioned. When you look at the statistics presented by UNEB, I note many positive trends. I just want to mention a few. One, the number of candidates dropping out after registration is steadily reducing, and thus reducing wastage. Two, UNEB takes great care to ensure that learners with physical challenges and various learning needs are accommodated through various measures which the board has put in place. These measures enhance equity in assessment and encourage inclusiveness in our education system. Three, a very high rate of 98.6% of candidates qualify for UACE certificate. I think this is great, people. 98.6% can stand and become members of parliament come 2020. I consider this to be a positive trend. There are also increasing numbers of learners who qualify to join tertiary institutions. This is very healthy for our human resource development. Four, performance has improved, and over 2,000 more candidates qualify for admissions to university and other tertiary institutions. Five, girls, fewer as they are at this level, have performed much better than their counterparts at almost all levels, and better in most of the individual subjects. This ensures that more of them are able now to transit to tertiary education. However, I note with concern that most of these numbers are in the humanities, and the actual number in sciences is quite low. While it is true that all subjects offered in our schools are important for our development, we must accept that sciences are critical in the essential area of technology, which is the engine for industrial development. It's unacceptable that only about 20% of UACE candidates have registered for science subjects, with the situation being worse for the girls. This is unacceptable. It's important that as a ministry we find out the reasons for the low transition rates in sciences and address them accordingly. From the Executive Secretary's general comments on the performance, it becomes very clear that the methods of teaching in the classroom must improve. The over-reliance on poorly-written pamphlets, which I understand is rampant, does not encourage the development of analytical skills and critical thinking, which must be exhibited by candidates at this level. Science teachers must now realize that failure to integrate theory and practical teaching will not produce learners that are suitably prepared for university and tertiary level science programs. It's quite sad to hear that learners in biology cram drawings instead of being taken through the essential skills of dissection. They will need these skills when they go to the medical school and the other disciplines. For us to address these challenges, government has put in place quite a number of interventions, which include recruitment of 3,800 secondary school teachers this financial year. 1,900 of these are science teachers. Provision of science textbooks in secondary schools, and intensifying in-service training to improve on the quality of teaching, particularly through the SESAMAT program. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm glad to note that incidence of examination malpractice at this level is low. Government will support UNEB in all forms possible to control and eliminate this vice. Of course, what is critical is for the country to know that the war against examination malpractice is like that against other forms of corruption. It cannot be the business of UNEB alone. With the few staff it employs, but it's a war that must be fought by all of us. It's the collective responsibility of all stakeholders to fight against this form of corruption. A head teacher who does not condone this malpractice, these schools will be free. A teacher who condones it, because the class will have problems. A parent who doesn't support a child. So all of us have got a very important part to play to eliminate this vice, and I'm calling for support from everybody. I congratulate all the successful candidates and thank the teachers who prepared our candidates and the parents, guardians who supported them. While the goal of most candidates and their parents is university education, I wish to encourage candidates to look at taking up technical and vocational programs at diploma level to provide the human resource necessary in construction and the other areas of development. I encourage those who have not made the mark for their dream courses not to give up. And there is another way or another chance to succeed. It's now my pleasure to release the 2018 Uganda Advanced Certificate of Education results to the nation. Thank you very much for listening to me.
Thank you very much, the Honorable Minister of Education and Sports. May we now rise for the anthems. I would also like to announce that the press conference will take place right here. So let's please rise for the anthems. Thank you. We may have our seats. Members of the press, you're now welcome. Please mention the media house you're working, your name, and then go ahead and ask your question. Thank you. Yes, let's have a seat.
Thank you so much, Mr. Mwenda. The Honorable Minister, thanks so much for officiating over the release of results. My concern is always, especially at this point, is always for the girls or the females at such a level of education. If you look at the data we have, you realize that girls are almost like 1/3 of the candidates that sit any science subject at A level. Even if they perform better than boys in a number of these areas, there are very few girls compared to boys. I think for every 4 boys, you might find 1 girl in doing sciences. And this is gradually denting their ability to be able to do sciences. Is there any plan for government, or do you think, what do you think should be done to have more girls in the science areas? My last question, still related to sciences, is that we have so many people now, as the data shows, that do not cross to A level with sciences. That means all the government effort that is putting in place to have sciences stops at O level. So I don't know if this is not counterproductive, because you have like almost half of the teachers who are being hired, half of them are actually teaching sciences, but they only stop at O level. After that, the sciences will be forgotten in their careers. Is this the way to go for us? Thank you so much, Honorable Minister.
Yeah, thank you so much, Mr. Mwina. My name is Kungu Ali Mahad Adam. I'm a journalist working with soft partners. I have 2 concerns. One goes to the board chairperson, who said that the drop in the number of candidates that registered for UACE last year was probably because of the fact that a number of institutions are absorbing most of these, rather a big number of these students. But given the population growth rate in the country and the number of students that are enrolled on a daily basis in different secondary schools, one would think that maybe there could be other factors that could have caused this drop. I'm really not convinced about this reason. I don't know what you think about it. Then the other thing, you also talked about the fact that UNEB is about to start registering candidates for this year's final examinations, but there are reports that some schools, or directors of certain schools, continue charging students who go back to their schools to pick their result slips for registration money, idea for keeping these result slips. So I would like to get it from you, and I would like to have you on record. What do you think about that? And indeed, are you aware about it? And is it really valid or sanctioned by UNEB? Thank you.
Yes, please. Question.
Namayingo, Bududa, and Pakwat presented a high failure rate. Could we have reasons for this high failure rate in this district? And what could be some of the reasons that teachers are giving for not exposing their students to these practical subjects? And isn't it time for government to rethink its science strategy, since the data is showing that very few transit to HSC?
Questions come again? The first one.
From the data UNEB has given, Namayingo shows that it had a 28.3% failure rate out of the 148 countries it sat for UACE. Bududa had 10%, Pakwat 10%, and they only had 49 of their students. Could we get reasons for this high failure rate in this particular district? And then the other one was on the teachers. What reasons do teachers give for not exposing their students to these practical subjects? And would this be the time for government to rethink its science strategy at all level? These few numbers are transiting to A level.
Yes, Jamali.
Cameron, hi is my name. I work with KFM and Daily Monitor. Mine goes to UNEB. I just want to know how the students with special needs perform. We have just seen the article number of those who participated in the exam, but their performance is not reflected. And number two, did we have any students from Zira, the Zira elements? They are not reflected anywhere. Thank you.
Honorable Minister, interfere with the questions for now.
Is that all?
No.
No means what? Ask your last question and proceed with your. What is that one, the last question? Violet. Oh, Violet has got to be shared privately with the minister. Pray for me. Okay, I think we begin with UNEB.
Thank you, Honourable Minister. I'll start with the question